What's up, guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Radial Engineering Bigshot ABY pedal. But before we get started, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and like the video if you like what you see, and check out my Patreon for some other cool content and tabs to all of my lessons that I have on YouTube. So if you don't already know, an ABY pedal is basically to run two different signals from one guitar or one pedal board to two different amps. This pedal is true bypass, and it has a lot of cool features that we'll get into after we compare the tones between the two amps and the amps together. And this is another thing that makes this pedal so cool, is you can run the amps together or separately. So for the amp comparison and running them together, we're going to use my Marshall DSL40CR, and we're going to use the Mesa Nomad One-Hundred. The Mesa Nomad has the original 212 speakers, and then in the Marshall, I've switched out the V-type for a greenback. And also with the Marshall, I'm running a 212 cab, and it has 70/80s. I'm reading over the user manual, and I already noticed that on the pedal that it had a tuner out jack. So I thought that was pretty handy. But after reading this manual, I figured out that if you run your tuner through that jack, then you can't do silent tuning because it has no way to cut the signal from out A and out B to your amps. So you would probably have to go to your amps and put them on standby if you wanted to do this. Now the manual says that you can go from out B, then into your tuner, then to whatever amp you're running through out B and have silent tuning. But if you're going to do that, then you could have it anywhere on the board. Now there's 3 switches on this pedal, 3 really useful switches. So your first one is the lift, and this says lift switch disconnects or lifts the ground from the cable shield on output B. And then the next switch that you have is the 180 switch, which reverses the phase on output B. This switch only works when the ISO transformer is engaged. So your next switch is that ISO transformer that it's talking about here that has to be engaged for the 180 switch to work. And it basically just eliminates ground loop hum. Now, I will say that it doesn't eliminate it 100%, but it does help quite a bit. But you're going to have some hum with tube amps anyway. That's just the way it is. And once again, this is a true bypass switcher, so there is absolutely no tone loss, no gain loss at all whatsoever. And to prove that to you, I'm going to run first through the pedal board, then the switcher, then to the Marshall. And then after that, I'll just plug straight into the Marshall. Now, before I got this pedal, I was using a Y cable from Amp Turco, which I highly recommend. He does a great job with his cables. And I also use his coiled cables. These are great heavy-duty cables. And nothing against his Y cable at all. I just like being able to switch between the two amps. But this pedal does give you quite a few options. So you could run it like I'm running it now, where you're using both amps at the same time, or you could switch between the two. Maybe there's an overdrive that you would rather use on the Marshall itself, and then on another song you may want to use the overdrive on the Mesa. Or maybe you have 2 amps, one you really like the overdrive zone and one you like the clean zone. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you want to run 2 amps like I'm doing, then go out and buy the Radial Engineering Bigshot ABY.